You're watching Inside Utah Politics.
Time now to break down some of the big stories of the week with the Inside Utah Politics panel. This week we have State Auditor John Dougal and State Representative Joel Briscoe. Gentlemen, great to have you with us. Thanks so much for being here.
Great to be with you.
Okay, kind of seems crazy we're talking about the governor race for 2020 already, and maybe that'll be part of this discussion.
People have been talking about it for a long time.
That's true. That's true. Let's break down a recent poll by the Hinckley Institute of Politics and the Salt Lake Tribune. There are the results. 5 potential contenders for governor. Jason Chaffetz, former representative, leading the way with 25% of the vote, all the way down to Speaker of the House Greg Hughes with 3% of the vote. What do you make of this poll? State Auditor, let's start with you.
First thing, at this point, it's pretty much nothing but name ID. That's what's being tested. I mean, it's kind of silly to be polling this early.
It's how much time you're on TV. And Jason Chaffetz has got all those cable hours.
So with that question, then, should he have higher name ID in a poll like this, then?
Perhaps. I mean, I think that there's a lot of sitting and waiting to see what happens. Greg Hughes' name is on a lot of people's lips. He hasn't made a move. He's indicated he wants to be an active speaker going out. He has been. And he hasn't talked a lot about running for governor. I mean, he's got a couple of years to work on that.
So when you talk about
the biggest number is somebody else or undecided. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you talk about name recognition, should some of these players have more recognition when we're talking a 2020 governor race at this point? Or would that just come naturally once the campaign starts anyway?
I think it comes naturally as the campaign starts.
If these people are serious, we'll start saying more Utah stories about them. They know how to work the press, and they know how to get their name out there if they want it out there. Because
if we're talking name and recognition, none of these numbers are really that high, are they?
Not really.
25%, then we go down to 16, 9, and 3.
It's a wide open field. I mean, I don't know you'd call any one of these people a front runner, other than you might say internally maybe the lieutenant governor. I mean, the biggest number is people saying, I'm going to wait and see.
Oh.
Okay.
And you look, we're a year and a half out. So.
Yeah, still plenty of time. Do you see the next governor of the state of Utah on that list of 5 people personally?
Don't know.
Don't know.
I wouldn't bet money, but it could very well be one of those people.
One of those people.
There could be a lot of.
There are other people who could be interested, who could jump in.
That's what I want to. That's what I want to talk about. You know, someone could pop up that we don't even know about, not even on the radar right now, and could potentially make a good run. Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, we've heard a lot of Josh Romney. I mean, his dad gets elected senator, perhaps, and his dad's name, the Romney name, is maybe somewhat rehabilitated in Utah. And
what about a guy?
Maybe he wants to be a congressman.
What about a guy?
Governor.
What about a guy like Jonathan Johnson, who ran in 2016, who beat Governor Herbert at convention, didn't do so well in the primary, but made a run before? Would someone like that potentially come in and be able to make a successful?
Depending upon how the 2018 elections come out, if there's a red wave, or I mean, the president of the United States might make his type of politics a little bit more salient in Utah. It's
possible, but Jonathan, for example, said he was running that one time, wasn't going to run again.
Okay. All right. Anything else on that you guys want to touch base on before we move on to the next topic?
He might run. Probably not. Probably not.
Well, I mean, I have heard his name mentioned in those circles.
There are a lot of good people who could run and make excellent governors.
Okay. All right.
Men and women.
So bottom line there is we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Let's move on to the medical cannabis ballot initiative. Pretty significant move during the week, and that is opponents dropping their lawsuit. If you take a look and analyze why would they do that at this point, what are some thoughts?
I think one of the things is their venue shopping. My understanding is they were in state court, then they moved to federal court. It's possible they come back to state court. I think they're trying to figure out any strategy to overturn the initiative, whether that's before it passes or even after it passes.
They may be deciding to live to fight another day and decided this is not the place right now to win, that it's on the ballot. They can't keep it off the ballot. I'm talking to friends of years who are telling me they're using the legal cannabis oils in Utah and it's helping them. And they said, Joel, 3 years ago, I never would have told you I would have had anything to do with anything to do with cannabis. And I'm thinking it has a decent shot of passage.
We've seen the church come out against it. Governor Herbert, other big elected officials have come out against it, and they don't seem to be changing the polls at all. Why is this, as you say, seemingly? Why is it that Utahns seem to support this now, according to the polls anyway?
I think one of the factors is the opioid crisis, and people see this might be a better way to deal with pain than the issues we have with opioids. Is it a perfect solution? Is it the ideal? Not necessarily, but it may be better than where we're at today.
There's some problems with a number of states have tried this, and the world has, the sky hasn't fallen. And I think a lot of voters are going, well, we're just talking medical. What's the problem with medical to help people with some medical issues in a way that may not be opioids?
And it's interesting to watch folks who historically have opposed marijuana in the past, then they get cancer or something like that, and all of a sudden their position changes. They say maybe.
Or people know someone in that situation and they've taken a more compassionate approach as well.
Before he passed, John Huntsman Sr. said some very pointed things.
Yes.
If I were running the campaign for, I don't know that their family would give permission, but there are a number of people who have a lot of clout that you could pull statements from that people have respect for.
And people in the city of Utah heard those words when they were spoken, and they remember them. Do you see this passing in November?
I believe it's going to pass.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. Let's move on to a big national hot talker, and ICE. You know, there seems to be a feud now and a lot of talk from Democrats that they want to get rid of it, abolish it. What do you think of that move?
I understand the passion. These pictures of crying children and behind chain link fences inside buildings, none of us like, very few of us like. I want to know the next step. What are we going to, I think a more critical discussion is what are the critical reforms we can do to the way we deal with people coming into our country. I'm not sure the president's really interested in fundamental reform. He's had some options on the table and then he's tended to torpedo them all. But doing away with ICE and not doing other reforms I don't think fixes the ultimate problem.
Your thoughts? Time to abolish the agency?
Well, first thing, I'm no fan of the Department of Homeland Insecurity. So, and ICE is part of that.
You meant to say that.
I did mean to say that, and I've said that for years. Clearly, we're going to have some form of immigration control and folks that enforce it. I think it needs to be much more at the borders and ports of entry and not running all throughout society 100 miles in from the border or other things like that. So I think there need to be serious reforms on immigration and immigration control, but I don't think you're getting rid of ICE.
Okay, any hope that that's going to happen? You know, Congress keeps bringing it up and they're not getting the support. I have about 30 seconds left, so I'll give each of you about 15 seconds.
You know, President Bush, President George W. Bush tried, even when he had Republicans had control of the Congress, Republican president, he couldn't get it done. We're kind of stymied.
Congress does two things well, nothing and overreact. So I think they're going to do nothing, unfortunately.
I'm not holding my breath, but we can hope.
All right, well, we will leave it on that word. Gentlemen, great to have you with us. Appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Inside Utah Politics after the break.